What's going on, guys? It is Ronald back here, coach of the Waltham Watchhogs for the Lost with Draft League Season 3, and we are back today to do the analysis of the Miraidon division. I decided to push the Miraidon out yesterday because we did not have any Miraidon content and the week started. Of course, transactions happen, so I have to catch up on that. But I'm gonna be pushing out the Miraidon today. But I think from going forward, I'm gonna try to do Miraidon first and Miraidon second, just to honestly try to line up with Colby's VOD reviews for everything. So this is my division. I'm super excited to play with it. I think it's really good top to bottom. I think even the team I have ranked 14th can do well. I think the team that had first I could do well. And if I'm being honest, I was not entirely sure. I don't trust my rankings on this one. I think there's a lot of room that like everyone can play, and I think a lot of people are just a few good pickups away from having a really good team. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna. There's already been a the Colby stream just happened for this. I watched all of that. We just had a Jake video. I've not watched the Jake video. We had an Elena video. We had an Alex tier list, and we had a corrosion video. The only videos I haven't watched for draft are the corrosion solo team report and the Jake video. But I'm gonna catch up on those later. So again, this is all my opinion. I think a lot of this stuff has already been touched on, so I'm gonna try not to like dangle too much. But I do hope everyone enjoys, and I will hopefully not make anyone mad. Right, so your Miraidon Week 1 power rankings. Again, my opinion. No worries on anything. At number 14, I have the Guyana Golurks, coached by Darkhelm, who is Patrick. Let's look at Patrick's team. It this is from my view Patrick's first time playing draft, and Patrick decided to go with the Sun team. He has Volcarona, which I think is a really good start. He's got Venusaur, Torkoal, Bronzong, Crook, Amoonguss, Rhyperior, Blaziken, Braviary, Hisui, and Golurk. Golurk's kind of the Patrick mascot. I think this is a draft that I personally think Patrick's best mode here is going to be the Trick Room mode. I think if he can get Bronzong and Torkoal in position with Amoonguss, he's got Rhyperior, this will hit like a truck. Braviary, I think, is another really good piece with Tinted Lens. Venusaur Chlorophyll will be very good. And there's a conversation in our chat right now with Patrick and Colby about just like the format in general. And this is kind of just like while I'm putting Patrick at 14, this is a squad that has potential. And I think that, or like not necessarily the errors, but like some of the changes are like still like that bad. I will pull up the draft sheet so I can just see. But it's a very good trick room team. I think there's a lot of good stuff that can be on the team. I think some of the issues with the team come in with role suppression. So specifically, like we have Venusaur Amoonguss. I think Colby touched on this as well. You have two of the same thing, one slow, one's fast. Could do well. No pure follow mirror is kind of like can be interesting, but I'm not sure what you put on here that gets follow me. I will pull up Showdown to check. I'm a huge Blaziken fan. I think the fact that you can protect speed boost up, and they can't really do anything about it because you have Trick Room pressure. If you don't want to do that, and then you can run Blaziken as a mixed attacker. I'm biased because Blaziken is my favorite mon, but I am a huge fan of that. I think there's a lot of like hidden stuff on this team. Like you see Sun, then you see Crocodile next to Levitate Bronzong, or even Golurk next to Levitate Bronzong. Um, but I think, admittedly, I think either a Venusaur and a Mungus drop into a Follow Mirror could be very, 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 very dangerous for people to play against. Um, I'm trying to think of what could be an idea. I think Clefairy just got dropped. I think that could be a really interesting thing to look at, where you can find the space. But I think regardless of that, I think this team honestly can have a lot of good stuff going for it. I think my one recommendation to Patrick, at least from a drafting perspective, is knowing if you can get the Mon later. Like I think the Venusaur you definitely could have got later, for a better pick, or at least not a better pick, but at least a more versatile pick. And I think you could have got it in like the fourth or fifth. I think Bronzong is a recent transaction. I actually don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but otherwise, I do think this team will cause people more problems than they think. I think a lot of people don't like the team right now. Admittedly, I think it's ranked semi-low, but I think this team can cause a lot of problems and be good because everyone's gonna sleep on it, and then No Guard Golurk comes out because that's what Patrick can and will do. But definitely a super good Trick Room team with the Venusaur fast mode. So I'm a fan to see what Patrick does with it. At number 13, next up, I have the Slow Bros, coached by Big Oog, Ivan, one of my friends who I looked at with the NAIC team with. Admittedly, with this team, I'm not a huge fan. I'm a fan of Ninetales, but I thought it was I thought it was late. Maybe you could argue mid-second round. I think it was more of a late second round, early third. I was hoping to get in the second round with my original plan, before things changed. But I think a first round pick can be a bit excessive. I think screens is huge in this mode. Um, Going Dozo Giri is also interesting to me. I think it does have its perks again. Um, but not a huge fan of Dozo in draft, especially the no Terra format. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. I think getting screens next to this thing will be cancerous though. The fact that unaware Dozogiri screens. And then you can just run Storm Drain as well. Um, so it's not updated because this is week one. I'm ranking for week one. Bax Caliber was dropped, so that will be gone next week. But I am a huge fan of Bax Ninetales. I think something else was just changed as well, but I'm not 100% sure. No, the snow mode was on the other division. Palma, I think, is a great mon. Hark, I think, is a great mon. I Meowscarada is a great mon, but I have my reservations about it. Specifically, with knowing it's a great fast mon. You want to click Flower Trick, you want to click Knockoff, and you want to click Triple Axle. And I say that with a question mark. Because you're going to want to run Focus Sash on this thing with no Terra. And I have bad memories of that from last season. Um, I think Rabambi's a really cool mon here. I don't know much about Rabambi. I know it's a Tailwind mon. That is just super super annoying. Um, no fantasy core. I don't think. Yeah, there's no steel type. Um, but you do have the fire water. You have an admittedly frail fire water grass core with the Meowscarada, but the Hark and the Dozo just are very good pieces. Um, I think this is a team that has good pieces. I think Ivan just needs to build it well and build it to catch people off guard because they will be coming with Dozo. If your opponent's not coming with Dozo Giri answers, then you're doing it wrong. So he's gonna have to prepare for them preparing for Dozo Giri and plan accordingly. At number 12, I have the Ottawa Oshawotts, coached by ZL. This is a team that I should say all these teams from 1 to 14 I had moved around um in a lot of different spots. This was a team I had as high as 7th, at a point, but I decided to drop, and I had it as low as like 13th, but I think 12th is a spot that will push this team. Um, my main reservations with the team is Blood Moon Farig. This is a top tier start to the draft. This is great. I don't know. I don't remember if Vivillon was the third pick. There have been transactions. Um, and I know no, I think Vivillon was the third pick. Yeah, because I was talking with Pengy, and they said Vivillon was on Pengy's plan, but did not work out. Basque Legion, I am annoyed because I wanted Basque Legion in what was either going to be the fourth or fifth, and it went right before me, so I didn't matter anyway. Um, Charles Blaze could be good. Hydreigon, this was Bax, it's now Hydreigon. Um, Thwacky went right before me. I wish you got Thwacky Chestnut with this. I think Thwacky Chestnut's a great combo, but I think Pengy beat you to the punch. Um, yeah, overall, I think this is a solid team, but it feels like a 4 mon or 5 mon show. Like Ursaluna Frigg, Hydreigon, Basque Legion probably come every game. Vivillon comes most times. And you have options. You have Wind Rider Shiftry, Squawk ability for Intimidate, or if you want to go the Guts route, you have Salazzle or Tauros Blaze for another Intimidator. But it feels really top heavy in that it's going to be a bit hard. And then, does this thing. I don't think this team has a Follow Meter. I did not add Follow Me to my move itinerary, which I should have. Um, oh well. But I think it's risky having Basque out there because Basque is a frailish mon without Farig because you can't switch. You're going to be adaptability, whether you're adaptability, Sash adaptability. Uh, I don't know whether you decide to go Mold Breaker for some reason. Who knows? But I think this team could do something. I think even like Grassy Seed shenanigans, like Grassy Seed Farig, I think that's the equivalent of Electric Seed Farig. But then you have to bring Thwacky, which could be fine because you could click U-turn Trick Room into your opponent, get Ursaluna in, and start sweeping everything. But that also means you don't have Mental Herb um, on Frigg. So I think this team has a solid place. Whether or not it will continue that way is up to ZL to play. A lot of these teams, again, this is all me theory talking. These teams could be really good, could fall off. I don't know. Number 11, I have this one hurts, I will say. The 413X Ursalunas versus 1413X, coached by Alex. Um, yeah, this hurts to put this low, but I think that's how stacked this this entire draft is. You have Sneasler for the first overall pick, Dragonite Gambit. I'm not a huge Dragonite fan in No Terror. I think I made that case with Peaceful Nate. Gothitelle is an interesting pick here. Electabuzz. Super mad that you picked Basque Legion female because I was planning on getting it that round. Um, Granville, Cinderace, Lurantis, Orthworm. Like solid. Like we'll round this out. Um, I think this team is super top heavy, and I do think that kind of limited Alex towards the end of this draft. I don't like. I think there will be some interesting plays. I think Cinderace will be interesting. I don't know much about Cinderace as a VDC mon, except that some dude ran it at Baltimore. Granbull's are really interesting. The entire fantasy court is super interesting with Dragonite, multi-scale Dragonite, or Inner Focus, um, Orthworm, and Gambit. Or you can even say Dragonite, Gambit, and Granbull. My bad. Um, Super interesting. Um, I think one thing that might be annoying with this team is I don't think many people plan to bring Intimidate into this thing. because what you'll intimidate is you might intimidate nothing. You might give Gambit a +1, which Alex, I know what Alex does when he has time to prep. Do not give this man time to prep. Like this man will can beat anybody if he's got enough time. I think Electabuzz can be a good mon. Sneasler is I if I play Alex, I think Sneasler is like my worst matchup, and I think the fact that my one practice match was against a Sneasler player did not help. But Sneasler is a super problematic mon just because of what it can cover. Um, I don't know if I think Dragonite gets Earthquake. If I can check. Um, which can get Earthworm going. With Earth Eater. Does it get Earthquake? It does get Earthquake, so that can get it going. I think I think not many people would think about it, but I think there is a world in which you can run Basket Legion F as a physical mon. It's got a bit less attack, or it's got less attack, but like Wave Crash and Last Respects still do a ton of damage. So, um, overall, I'm a fan of this team, which is saying something, even though I have it ranked low. Um, I think Alex will prove very quickly that he is a threat with this team. Um, Even some of the stuff like I'm really excited to see what he does with the Cinderace and the Lurantis, because I've got no clue what either of these mons do. I know Cinderace has Pyro Ball, and I don't know anything about Lurantis. So Grand Ball as well will be super fun. I'm just excited to see what he builds. My one hope is that I don't see, or I think there's an argument to see Sneasler, Dragonite, Gambit, Electabuzz every game. And the question is, what does he bring on top of it? But knowing Alex, he will bring exactly what you don't expect. It's a very good team, a very good physical team that Intimidate wants to come into that can't. So it's going to be a solid team, and being at 11 is um, surprising. But Alex will prove me wrong. I know that. Number 10, I have the Beantown Barnacles, the Realist Theo, which is my week 1 matchup. So this is like a team that I'm starting to get somewhat familiar with, but I haven't actually started prepping. Um, you got transactions were made at the last second, which is kind of funny, which I think honestly makes the matchup. Does the matchup become harder for me? Yeah, the matchup becomes harder for me. But so you've got Garchomp as your main with Kilowattrel, Disquake, Pain. Hisuian Typhlosion will probably be Specs or Scarf. Azumarill, Weezing, Hitmontop, Gothorita, Oboliva, Magnezone, Sneasel, Slacking. Um, this is a team that can do a lot. Um, but I think there's some things that are interesting with it. I don't know how much I like Arboliva because that just hinders Garchomp's earthquakes. Weezing Slacking is a really volatile thing to play because when Weezing goes down, you're in a very bad and interesting spot. Like um I think Sneasel's a great pick. I like Sneasel in draft. I think having inner focus fake out stuff. I don't think there's anything you can really beat up here unless you want like weakness policy Typhlosion. Um I think Gothorita will be interesting. This is all stuff I have to start preparing for. Hitmontop's a great mon. Um, this team can do a good chunk. Magnezone is very easy to get out of hand as well. Um, oh, it's a great team. Um, I guess the question is, how will it be able to handle everything else? Because, well, I think there's a lot of good synergy here. I don't think everything synergizes here. Um, that well, or as well as I'd like to think. I think you'll see people building in unique ways. I plan on building in unique ways to solve and get around this team, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I can't lie. Um, So yeah, overall, we will see how it plays out. But I'm looking forward to playing Theo. Week one. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And this is a great first team to play for me to play because I have to build this is a draft team roster and I have to play draft against it, and I am looking forward to that a lot. At number 9, I have the Alexandria Arcanines, coached by Stout Gaming. Um, Stout started off with the T-Tart Indeedee female, um, paired with Driplim, Hariyama, Delphox, Hatterene, Mo, Milotic, Houndstone, Haxorus, Brem. Um, I think the first thing I notice is we've got the size spam mode. Um, in which I think the same points I made up with the Nagai Freak team. You've got the Follow Me Trick Room stuff that you're gonna have to run to protect the Hatterene properly, or you can go slightly faster with the Delphox. Um, One thing I've noticed I haven't been looking at with past teams is speed. Delphox is a respectable 104. That's great. I think Hariyama is a great pick if you go for the Trick Room mode. I think Wide Guard, Fake Out, Guts, Flame Orb, Trick Room, Facade, Death. That's great. Um, I think the Soft Sand mode. Oh, also Driplim with Psychic Seed. That's just fast. Um, it's a great, great mon to play with. I think the only thing I have against Driplim Psychic Seed is you can still get Sucker Punched because you can't tear it out of it. Um, Otherwise, I'm a fan. Um, the Sand mode with T-Tar Houndstone, I was more of a T-Tar Lycanroc guy, but I think Houndstone with Last Respects will do damage. Haxorus is an interesting choice, to say the least, in my opinion. Um, I think it's got options. I like Mold Breaker. Um, I'm not sure what Rivalry does. I want to check that right now because it's just a quick check. Haxorus Rivalry. Oh, so you have to gender the I don't think anyone runs. I don't think you run that. I think that's a bit too risky. Um, you've got your Spore Protection with Levitate Mo and River Room. But overall, you might no, you can't just Quake with it. That's Ghost. I think it's a solid team overall. I think it's got a few fun modes. Um, you have Barrier Prevention with 2 Mons. You might not even see the sand stuff. I assume most of the time this will be Sash or AV. I think it's more likely to be Sash. Um, yeah, I think this is another team where like you've got about two and a half different modes you have to prepare for. And if you don't prepare correctly, you will get blown up by the size spam followed by sweepers, or you get blown up with the fast mode, or you'll just get blown up with the balance mode with the Delphox, with the Milotic, and the Rotom core. Um, Fantasy Core is also pretty cool. I like the Rev of Room, which again I don't have much experience with Rev of Room. Hatterene and Haxorus. It's a really interesting fantasy core. I think this team could definitely do well. Um, I think having the speed control with Driftblim and Hatterene will be very good. So a lot of the time you get to dictate. Also being able to protect your Hariyama and T-Tar from and even Haxorus from Intimidate with competitive Milotic is very good for the squad. So very solid overall team. I like it a lot. Number 8, I have the Northern Noivers, coached by Undead Paradox. Liam, admittedly, this was a team that when I made my first like preliminary rankings, I had a 12 because I think there's a lot of good, but also a lot of iffy things. But this is a team that Liam is very familiar with a lot of the Pokemon on it. So to start, you've got your Dragapult with Clear Body, solid. If Liam is worried about screens, they can go Infiltrator. They have Mienshao, which inner focus, fake out, just strong fighting type. It's very, very good overall. Um Weavile's another great mon with fake out. Tinkaton I think has fake out as well. Yep. So that's 3 fake outers. I think the toxicity is a bit interesting on this team. Um, I assume the plan is to click discharge next to Gliscor, um, which is a mon that Liam knows very well, and they have done lots of damage with, and Hypercutter ignores Intimidate as well. So you've just got your your biggest or your three biggest physical attackers here are immune to Intimidate, which makes you think: do I bring the physical attackers or do I not? You have your Trick Room mode with Snorlax Slowking. Dirge is just a really safe option that you make sure no one sets up. Um, it's really good. It's a really good balanced speed tier team. Um, this team can hit like a truck. I think Rockwell said this earlier. This is a CS Army and Shadow, which it kind of is. I think the only downside is I don't think Dragapult gives a really good ghost move. Um, at least I think a physical ghost move, I should say. Because another thing you can do with Dragapult here is you can run a special Dragapult, and that can get very spicy very quickly. Because that's one that you could run Shadow Ball, Infiltrator, and just surprise um, to anyone that wants to do screens. Um, I think Liam picked up Superior. I think. I don't know if that was a recent transaction or not. No, Liam drafted it. That was the other draft. I think Sentret as your follow mirror is a bit risky. I know you have triple fake out, but what if you just run Covert Cloak? Like, could get a bit iffy. Um, but I don't really know how you replace it. There's probably an option, but I think Tinkaton's also a great mod. I don't know who Colby was talking about when they said Tinkaton was not the greatest, but I think Tinkaton is a very good mod for this squad. Um, the core of Slowking Superior Skeledirge will be solid. There's no true fantasy core, but Dragapult and Tinkaton are very good options. Um, only the ground weakness. This will be a solid team that I think I play during the season. I'm looking forward to. Number 7, I have the Cursed Curry Stunfists, coached by Curry, and I hate this team for a few reasons. One, Smeargle Muck. Curry is building a very, very annoying team to play against. You have to respect the Smeargle Muck mode. You have to respect Psych Up shenanigans, which if I check Mons that get not Psychic, but Psych Up, is Annihilate on there? It is not on there, but Muck's on there, I'm pretty sure. I actually don't know. I might just be talking out my ass right now. Yeah, I am. But if something gets Psych Up, that's gonna be really annoying. You have Decorate stuff that you can put next to Annihilate and Metagross. You can't exactly intimidate either of them with Defiant and Clear Body. You have a Sun mode with Whimsicott Charizard. Belly Bolt is a really fun bolt. Hisuian Zoroark is going to pop up at any time. Gastrodon's a very good defensive piece. I think Curry built a very Curry draft team, and I don't think I got to play against him season 1, but Curry had an interesting team with some interesting pieces and some interesting game plans. I think Curry's current team is much better than the season 1 team ever was, and seeing that he's had a season off and he's rested when it comes to draft, my God, this is going to be a pain to play against. Um, I'm not a huge fan of playing as this team, but against this team, I really don't want to go against it. Because, what do you have to prepare for? Literally everything with Smeargle. I mean, yes, you can narrow it down to 10 moves, but then you're like, all right, it's going to click Tailwind, Protect, Spore, Follow Me, Decorate, and then you get Pop Bomb Technician. And you're just dead. It's like, oh yeah, I can just defend from that. No, it beat up Whimsicott on Annihilate is going to happen. Or beat up Weakness Policy Metagross. or I don't know if that works actually, but weakness policy Metagross is a pain. Um, then there's just stuff like everyone's like chill, and then like solar powered Charizard comes out. Um, I love this team for Curry. I think this is going to be a team that really exemplifies Curry's strengths as a team builder. I'm not excited to play against this team. I'm excited to build against it, but like this is a very, very scary team um to play against, and I'm excited for it. Number 6, I had Area 151, coached by KC Corrosion. Um, Corrosion's plan was to get Garchomp and go from there. Garchomp was taken 5th overall, I want to say. So they went for the Incineroar option instead. And Incineroar Sinistra as a core is really, really annoying to break through. Throw Palafin on there, that's really, really annoying to break through. Um, Gardevoir with Telepathy is a great mon because you can run it next to Earthquake, you can run it for Discharge. There's definitely some other options. Hisuian Gudra with Shelter is a pain. Wheezing, um, I know Corrosion is interested in bringing Levitate and Neutralizing Gas, so you have to go which one. Scrappy Flamigo is a great mon, and then of course everything's fine until Co-Star Flamigo comes out and just starts clicking literally any move. Um, if anything gets set up on this team, if Goodra gets 2 defense boosts, it doesn't get. I don't think it gets on body press, but it's a pain to deal with. If Corrosion wants to go bulk up Incineroar, that's a pain. Um, Low kicks is, I think, a very, very good mon. Hitting with Tinted Lens, 102 damage, first impressions with stab. No thank you. Like that's all I have to say, no thank you. Not interested. A lot of great pieces on this team. Can't really complain much about it. I think that's the level that all these teams are at the top. That I can't make too many complaints about this team. Um, because like it's just good. Like you can leave Palafin in for a turn, swap it out to bring in Incineroar and Sinistra, and just the mon next to it just gets healed up. Then you bring Palafin back in, just start doing damage. Um, Sinistra next to Gudra, Sinistra next to Wheezing. So, like this is a team that will work very, very well together. It's got a great base stat total. It's a super good attacking team. Slightly frail, but the attack more than makes up for it. Everyone's gangster until 160 base power Palafin starts knocking. Um, I think it's a solid team. Definitely one that can move up. I know Corrosion as a draft builder. There will be some heat coming out, and I think Corrosion plays much differently than most people would expect. And it's overall just a very strong team. At number 5, this is when I started really having like not issues with the teams, but like how can I justify one team over another? Because this number 5 team, which is going to be the good guy Gudros, coached by Rockwell, I had at number 1 for a period of time. I love Rockwell's team. I have Ursaluna was like my this has a chance to fall to me and I'm gonna take it mon. This was Ursaluna was my number 2 mon in the draft. I love this thing. Komo is a great surrounding piece. Yes, it has the fairy weakness, which is a pretty glaring flaw, but it's Rockwell. Rockwell's gonna find a way around. Magmar's a great pick. I love the screens with Grimmsnarl, Intimidate Gyarados. Um, Oranguru is really nice because you can't flinch it, and Trick Room's gonna go up. Super nice. Abomasnow Frostmoth, I love as well. Um, Comfy's just a pain in the ass mon, so is Yanmega. Um, really, really solid stuff all around. Like there's a lot of good things on this team that you can't really complain that much about. Like yeah, it's just good stuff. Like there's like Rockwell teams, which like Rockwell's like a very creative team builder. He'll throw random stuff together and make it look really good. But this is like the most like Pokemon. This is the most like this is what this does Rockwell team where you can still see the room for innovation. And I am a fan of that. I am a huge fan of this team. If there's no Rockwell believers in this team, then I am dead. That is how I feel about this team. I love it. I feel really sad putting it at 5, but I think the 4 teams above it are also equally as cracked as this team. I'm a fan. Um, and I get to play this team this season. And again, I'm not looking forward to it. I know how Rockwell is as a builder, and it's going to be a lot of fun and very painful at the same time. Number 4, I have Jake of the Boston Blackjacks. Jake, believe it or not, loves balance, and I think you can see that with this team. I knew Jake's plan was to go Rillaboom Primarina to start. Arcanine to round out the core is a great pick. I love Corviknight. I think Mudsdale Earthquake next to it is good. Um, Slowking Galar is a great Trick Room Mon, along with Mudsdale. Um, Goodra is another Mon that can give you a Grass immunity. Electivire your Follow Mirror. Conkeldurr in Trick Room with Guts. Um, Flame Orb. Umbreon is just a good check. Um, there's not much to say about this team. It's just good. Like it's a bit slow, admittedly, or it's not even slow. But Arcanine is your fastest Mon. Um, but you can just E-speed. It does have this trick room mode set up. Um, Ice and ground weaknesses. I think everything has those weaknesses though. Good base stat total. Definitely very physical. Um, and this is a team. It can protect itself. Like inner focus or stamina. What's it going to be? Mirror armor. It's going to come out almost every week, except for the time that Unnerve comes. You have an intimidator. I wish there's a beat up mod on this team from Mudsdale and Arcanine, but that's just wistful thinking for me. Jake drafted a team that he's going to be comfortable with. Um, yeah, admittedly, towards the end of the draft, I did think Jake started picking Jake picked mons that like were mainly because of typing and not synergy, but the synergy still works super well in this case because of that. Like you've got your Firewater Graph score, and then you've got your makeshift like Goodra, Corviknight, Primarina for your fantasy core. Um, and all these are different types, which like I feel like Jake would go for. And I think with Jake's skill, he'll be able to make this work. I don't think it's as strong as his team last season. His team last season was cracked. Um, but it's still a super good team that he'll be able to use efficiently. Regardless of like how he builds it each week. So I'm a big fan of Jake's team. I love it. I don't get to play in this season, but I'm excited to see how he builds it week in and week out. Um, yeah, number 3, I put my team. I have the Waltham Watchhogs. I am super happy about this draft. I think most people. I'm not going to touch too much about it, but art to say the least, Archaludon was my number 1 Pokemon, and I got it at 6. And then Mousehold came back to me in round 2. Pelipper, I think it's really obvious what some of this stuff does. Archaludon Pelipper, it's just your rain core. Um, you've got Hisuian Samurott to abuse rain, Overqwil to abuse rain. Hisuian Electrode is a mod that has Bullet Seed to help Archaludon out. Florges has Flower Veil to protect Decidueye and Symbiosis. Meowstic was a mod that was recommended me to Jake when I first drafted Archaludon as like a late round pickup. I think having the Prankster option is very good. And I think Armarouge to pair with it as both like a fire coverage to finish up Fire Water Core because I needed at least one Fairy Resist. which is one thing I don't like about the team, but it's really nitpicky. Um, but like I'm a huge fan of this team. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing with it. I think there's a lot of ways I can build it. I'm not gonna touch too much more on it because I know the team very well, or I'm starting to learn the team very well, I should say, and I haven't really gotten to practice much with it. And I know when the practice starts, it's gonna work. I'm really looking forward to it. Number two, I have the Massachusetts Mareeps, coached by Keon. Admittedly, when I first saw this team, I wasn't that thrilled with it. However, I think the more I look at it, I think the more the pieces somewhat fit together. I think Keon built a puzzle out of a bunch of pieces that might not fit together, but I think Keon's both good enough as a builder and a player to make it work. Um, this was also slightly influenced by both Colby's talking the team as well as Elena and Alex's tier lists because they saw something that maybe I didn't at the first time. And when you take a closer look, this is just a team of really versatile mons. I think his most expensive mon is 15 points with the Salamence, which you can build very differently. You can build it physical or special, I want to say. Is that right? Yeah, you can build it physical or special. Whichever or. Indeedee is a great terrain setter. Gallade can abuse that pretty well. You have your soft rain core, Polytoad Ludicolo. Alcream for decorate shenanigans. Magmortar for a good follow me. Gengar's Gengar. I love the Glamora pickup. I almost went Glamora, but I decided not to. I think Glamora is great on this team. Torterra is another mon that you can easily go Iron Defense, Leech Seed, Body Press. Scizor, another good mon. Technician, Bullet Punch. Um, this is a team that even though I have so high, I don't really know what it does, or more so what Keon wants to do with it. Like, there's a lot of good stuff on this team. Gallade also having a choice band in sharpness is very, very good. Um, yeah, not much more to say about it other than I'm a fan. I like this team. I think it will cause significant problems for me week 2 when I have to play against it. Um, yeah, it's just gonna be good. Like no real complaints here. I think it's a good team. My only concern would be there's not that true physical punch. But what that means is you have 11 Pokemon that you can bring every week. Like there's no guarantee that Keon brings a specific thing every week. Because the closest thing you can guarantee is the Salamence, but even then you might not bring Salamence every week. So it's a really solid team overall. I like it. Number one, I have the Zerd Salmadentas, coached by Pengy. This is not Pengy's logo. I just made it because I didn't want to have a white box. Pengy started with his Goldengo, which is his signature Pokemon by this point. Then it got Clef P2 round 2 and 3, Disquake Stuff, Rotom Wash Excadrill. Cleavor is a scary pickup, Scrafty, Hippowdon for the soft sand mode, Altaria, Chestnut Fletchlinder. I'm a huge fan of this draft. This draft had a lot of mons I was considering picking up. I really liked Clefable. I really like Chestnut. I really like Fletchlinder. Um, this is just solid. Like, you can't really look at the base stat total because of Fletchlinder, but you have Goldengo protected by Clefable. Like, you have to make sure this Goldengo is protected. You could build a defensive Goldengo, but most of the time it's going to be offensive. P2 is a great mon. P2 forces your opponent to build their mons to be equally invested, so that way it can still cover for physical defense or special defense by forcing it to get the defense boost. Sandrush Howdon or Sandrush Excadrill paired next to Howdon's very strong. That's just a base. What is that speed based on 176 Excadrill? Rotom Wash next to it is a great discharge. I only don't like that you have no consistent water damage. You have a very good Intimidator and Scrafty. Chestnut, you can either play supportive, you can play lead sheet body press, or you can play belly drum. What will Pengy do? Find out on roulette because no one knows. Um, this is my favorite team by far. Or not. I'd say it's my second favorite team, but I think it's the best team for me. If I had to pick a player in this draft to play a team that was most like them, it would be this team with Pengy. He's got plenty of modes which he likes. Um, Plenty of stuff to prep for, plenty of stuff to prep against other people with. Um, I'm just a fan of it. There's not really much to say. Cleavor gets a surprising amount of moves. Like I was talking with Pengy about the Cleavor pick, and he's like, "Yeah, just look at the move pool. It gets a ton, and it has sharpness. This is gonna be the hidden pick of the draft. I love it. I think there might be some weaknesses with this team. Um, but overall, it's just really strong. Like no complaints here. It's it's a very good team, and I'm looking forward to playing against it. Um, but yeah, that's about it. I tried to go a bit shorter just because of the amount of stuff we had out there already. But these are my rankings. Again, this stuff can and will change on a week to week basis. But if you watched all the way, I thank you for watching. I hope you'd enjoyed. Um, and I'm going to be trying to do this weekly, so we have at least some content to go off of consistently. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I look forward to starting the draft literally any day now. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.